Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zach, and here we like to talk about overlanding and off-roading and tech. And today's a pretty awesome video because we're going to be talking about a modification that's very inexpensive and definitely worth it for most people. So even if you're not really big into off-roading or doing overland, trails and forest roads, this is still going to be a super relevant video for you, because I think this is a super helpful mod even just when you're going to the grocery store or picking up takeout or anything like that. So, definitely stick around. One thing I will mention is like 90% of my viewers aren't subscribed, so please subscribe down below because that really helps the channel. And if you like this video, please click that thumbs up button down below because, again, both those things help the channel grow, and when I can grow, I can create awesome more content for you guys. So with that being said, today's video is about a kit you can get from LASFIT, and that's LASFIT. And basically it's just an LED kit swap for the inside of your vehicle. So a lot of the doors on your vehicle have some sort of lighting, as well as lighting on the ceiling and some other places like lighting on the trunk. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm swapping out all of the lights that are on the doors and the trunk. The reason why I didn't opt for doing the whole entire kit for the inside of the vehicle is because I'm still a pretty big fan of the yellowish light at night. And if you're in the vehicle and you're sleeping on your platform, I kind of like to have that yellowish light at night when I'm trying to wind down. And I don't really find that it's a big deal that I don't have bright interior lighting in the vehicle when I'm trying to find something, or I'm messing in the center console of the truck. Any of those things, that doesn't really bother me to use the incandescent lighting that's in there right now. However, if I am outside and maybe I drop something on the ground next to the driver's side, or maybe I'm trying to get through stuff in my trunk, or I'm trying to figure out what I can set on the ground outside the trunk and what I'm putting in the trunk, or maybe it's even just dark out at night and I'm walking to my vehicle and I want there to be more light around the car when I'm getting in so I can see where I'm stepping, that sort of thing. I think this is a super awesome modification, and like I said, it's really inexpensive. It's not going to cost you a lot of money. So that I just kind of wanted to explain my rationale for only doing the doors and the trunk rather than the inside. It's mainly because of that sleeping platform setup that I do on a fairly regular basis, and that makes me not want to upgrade those lights. But if you don't have a sleeping platform and maybe you pull a camper or you sleep in a rooftop tent or something like that, I could totally see why you would also want to swap those interior lights. I just don't have like a tutorial on how to do that. So in the video now, we're going to kind of cover like the install of those light bulbs, removing the old light bulbs, and just kind of getting that all set up. And then at the end of the video, there's more of a light comparison of the before and after of that, just so that you can kind of see what the dramatic improvement is in light output from the stock light bulbs to these LED light bulbs from the LASFIT kit. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the video and get started on talking about the install. So you're going to start out with using a flathead screwdriver to just pry on the top of this plastic cover for the light. And that pops out pretty easily. I didn't have to try too hard to pop that out. And that exposes the housing for the light bulb. Now, with it inside the plastic panel for the rear door, you can still grab out the light bulb. But what I found out a little bit later was that this whole housing actually pops outside of the door, so it'll dangle by its wire, and it's a lot easier to maneuver around. But make sure when you put these lights in for the tailgate that the LED on the light bulb is facing outward and not inward, so that your light bulb's facing the right direction, since the light bulb you're putting into the tailgate is directional. To put the housing back into the tailgate, you're just going to hook it in on the right side and then press down so that it latches. The doors I found a little more challenging to actually remove this translucent cover for the light. I found that I needed two flatheads to actually get this to pop out of its socket. One flathead to just kind of get a grip on it and create a little bit of space, and then my other flathead I pushed through that created space to actually pry it out. Once you're able to do that, it was quite simple. If you pry on the side that's farthest away from the door hinge, that's probably the best approach. Now, as I demonstrated in the video, you're just going to pull that plastic shroud that's translucent towards you as you're holding it, oriented it like it is in my hand, and that will slide right off. And then once you remove that clear plastic piece, the gray plastic piece is just going to pop right off. It's pretty natural. It's got like a channel that it slides in, and that pops right off really simply to expose the light bulb there. Basically how these light bulbs work is they don't really screw in. They have like pinching metal contacts that hold the light bulb in place. So what you just have to do is you have to pull out the old light bulb, which is just pinched in place, and grab it by the glass and pull. And then these new light bulbs are going to push back in there. One thing I noticed is these aftermarket light bulbs are a little bit thick for that connection point. So you do have to press pretty hard, and I tried my best to hold the light bulb on the outside of the housing when I was pushing it into this socket, but it still seems like you're maybe going to break something. I didn't have any issues, but you're definitely going to press really hard, and the farther you push it in, the more space that light is going to be able to bounce off of the sides of that plastic gray circular cover that goes around the light bulb. So definitely try and push it in as far as you can, because there is an LED at the end of that aftermarket light bulb. Then snap the plastic clear cover back on, and you're ready to put this back into the door. So basically you're going to hook the side that's closer to the door hinge, and then the right side is just going to pop right into the door plastic piece. The driver and passenger doors have slightly larger light housings, but they work the exact same way as the rear doors. So basically what we're going to do again is we're going to pop this housing out of the door, and the wire will allow it to just dangle there. You're going to remove the clear plastic first, and then the gray circular plastic next. You will remove the old light bulb and then press the LED light bulb back into the housing, just like in the rear. And then you're just going to have to reassemble that again and pop it right back into the door. And the left side, or closer to the door hinge, is going to be where it will hook in, and then the right side of the housing will just pop right into the plastic of the door panel. Again, just to remind you, it does feel like you're maybe going to break the light when you're pressing it into the light bulb socket, but just know that the farther you press it in, the better chance you're going to get a good contact, and you're going to have extra space for the light to bounce off of the housing. So I didn't quite show how the packaging is opened, but basically this little piece of paper or cardboard is just behind this little package of lighting. It's nothing too fancy, but basically what I did is I used this packaging to store the incandescent bulbs that were in there. It's probably not necessary for me to keep them, but it's kind of a nice backup in case one gets burnt out. So I would recommend keeping this packaging and then just throwing your old bulbs in there for storage. Alright guys, so I'm trying to just film in here to show you what it looks like in pitch black with just these incandescent lights, and just to kind of give you a perspective on what these stock halogen lights look like. This is roughly how bright they are. They've got that yellow tint to them. I apologize if the video quality isn't amazing, but it's really hard to film in the dark. So yeah, this is roughly like how illuminated my trunk gets when we've got these stock tail light bulbs in. So additionally, I want to replace the door lights that illuminate the ground when you open it. So there's the first door. And here's the second door. So I'm really hoping that it gets a lot brighter by putting in these LASFIT lights. Just to get in a little closer here. That's about how bright it gets. So, I mean, it's not awful. but in pitch dark, it's pretty dark. So here's my best side-by-side of the two different scenarios of looking at the lights under the doors and then also looking at the trunk light. And I did this in my garage so that I could basically reduce as much natural light in my film as I could. And I think it's a pretty crazy difference how bright these interior lights are compared to the halogen stock light bulbs. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this or it brought you any sort of value, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, subscribed, because there's a pretty good chance you're going to like the content that I have coming. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video.